Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to some more Let's Play the Occult Chronicles. In the last episode, we began to explore some portions of the second floor in the mansion, looking for more evidence that vampires are here, and anything that we can use to help us defeat them. We've acquired a machete, another melee weapon, and we also got another Arcana card, the Hermit. The Hermit acts quite a bit differently than the Star in regards to the temptation it tries to bring to you. While the Star wants you to use it as soon as possible to benefit from gaining a spell, the Hermit never wants you to use it. This way you benefit from its defense of your sanity points, because it blocks 2 points of sanity loss whenever you would normally experience it. I really love the ideas Vic had here in regards to the Arcana cards, because it is always painful to eventually, well, it might be painful to eventually use one, depending upon which one you use. In any case, we came up here in particular because we were looking for the portal generator, which I thought was inside this room, but instead we bumped into a mad scientist. Ben Laszlo, I think is what his name is. And we have quite a few quests now, all ready to be completed. Well, I'm sorry, ready to be continued. So to that end, let's make some progress at this. Since I'm now feeling like we can probably explore more rooms, I think we will explore these other second floor chambers while we're in the area and passing by them. You notice the eerie glow at first. There was a large vase set on a pedestal. The opaque glass base is topped with a ceramic lid that is marked with strange runes and glyphs. As you observe the vase, a face materializes within it. It swirls around the inside, locked in a horrific silent scream. The face in the vase is truly disturbing. You can't actually hear it scream, but the expression evokes an overwhelming urge in you to scream as well. I think the face is from the painting The Scream. Alright, that worked out. You resist the urge to scream and gather your wits and courage. The face swirls around the interior of the vase, illuminated from within by a ghostly blue energy. The silent scream still echoes in your ears, or perhaps only your imagination. You recognize the vase's construction and the runes etched along its lid. It's a spirit jar. Its sole purpose is to bottle up and slowly leech off energy from powerful beings. You should proceed with caution. So this is part of a quest, and the quest doesn't start here, so we want to wait on interacting with this until we find the quest giver. Sometimes that quest giver may be in the same room with the vase. I'm suspecting this might be her. It is not. You see ghostly wisps of smoke rising to the ceiling. You follow the wisps down to a large, comfortable leather chair sitting in the gloom. Suddenly, you see the illumination of a cigar end, and with that, a ghost materializes sitting in the chair. That's such a cool sounding effect. You're confronted with a supernatural manifestation that sends a chill down your spine. When the ghostly smoke clears, you feel that you have lost some small part of your sanity. Thankfully, we didn't actually lose any part of our sanity. The gentleman ghost sitting in the chair puffs away on his cigar and smiles back at you. He looks like the jovial old uncle that you never had. You sense that he is impatient, though, as his demeanor turns from a smile to a frown. Perhaps he thought you were a servant. You decide to use your psychic talents as a medium to try and find out what the ghost is doing here. He might have information that can help you. Oh, good hand for this. Assuming we don't get all kings or only just cups up there. You sit down in the chair across from him and enter a trance. Mistaking you for a servant, he thinks you are impertinent at first. Then he realizes that you still might be able to help him. It's a favor done.
Humph!
My good man, I am almost out of my cigars here. Would you be kind enough to go and fetch me a few? The ghostly gentleman leans back and puffs out a huge column of ghost smoke. He fixes you in the eyes and says, "There's just one catch, of course. More like an inconvenient challenge, actually. You'll see what I mean." He wants us to get the fingers off the smoking corpse that we left down on the first floor. I think we're kind of near it, though. We're also near the refrigerator, which I believe we need to do for Benway. So we may as well go and get those things completed, since we're passing by them. So this is the Seance Room, and I am used to encountering... There's an encounter in here which has a chance to give you the crystal ball, but we already have that crystal ball. Interesting. I wonder what else it might give as a reward. It's a dangerous encounter, though. I have gotten an instant insanity card from it before. But we'll see if we can survive this time. You notice the crystal ball set on the large wooden table almost immediately. You've obviously stumbled upon a seance room of some type. As you approach the crystal ball, it suddenly fills with a swirling cloud of white smoke, and a face materializes inside. You are caught off guard by the sudden appearance of the supernatural fortune teller. You have seen things far worse than this. In fact, this isn't your first run-in with a crystal ball and a fortune teller. Oh? Maybe we can pretend that the crystal ball we actually found here, we actually had already with us. And maybe we just learned how to use it. Psychically or something like that. The face in the smoke begins to speak. You soon realize it doesn't seem to be aware that you are even there. It seems to be communicating with the spirit world directly. You catch glimpses of motion around the periphery of the table. Ghostly shapes soon appear seated around the table. You could swear you hear a tambourine rattle. The ghosts... I always like the idea of this. The ghosts are having a seance to talk with the living, rather than the other way around. I thought that was a really nice touch. So, I have tried both of these, and they're dangerous to fail at if we were to interact with the crystal ball. We don't have to attempt it, though. We could simply leave the crystal ball alone and never interact with it. Let's leave it alone at the moment and explore the rest of the room. And I will make up my mind what we will do with this crystal ball after we're done. And there's no other encounters up here. How many clue tokens are we up to? There's usually 3 on the first floor, 2 on the second floor, 1 in the attic, and 1 in the basement level 3, I think? I'm trying to think... So, the reason why I mention this is because I'm trying to convince myself to not step on all the empty spaces in order to save myself a few steps. Because this way, we might be able to explore more of the house that we care about and avoid more story tokens being drawn. I think we will make 1 attempt at this. Let's dispel the crystal ball. It's slightly easier, but also slightly more difficult. We have 1 less target number, but 1 less trick. Actually, maybe we'll simply leave it alone. We'll leave it alone. You see a locked wooden door. There is a worn keyhole right where it belongs, but no sign of a key anywhere. So... we're going to try chopping it down. So we're going to punch it a few times and see if we can get through this door. And it's a good thing we did this, because we have a bunch of garbage cards in my hand. Only 1 face card is a page. Wow. So we would have still won if we had drawn... Well, actually, no, right, because we would have drawn less hand cards if we chose a different option. Splinters of the loud noise announce your success in bashing down the door. The way lies open now. Now, I am... Okay, curious. We didn't get anything from this. I don't remember if using the axe to chop down a door can give you the same rewards that getting through a door normally would. And it's another bedroom. I don't think there's another clue token up here. Another class 1 haunting. Getting her is still better than trying to destroy the ghost with psychic powers. So we will get her. Uh-oh. Or will we? No, we won't. You didn't stand a ghost of a chance. Get her. What were you thinking? I was thinking I might win. Remember, everyone, that with the Hermit Arcana card, that 1 point of sanity is blocked, so we didn't suffer any sanity loss there. The game, though, also realizes that, and won't make this won't make this challenge any more easier for us upon losing it, unless we actually suffer some sort of loss, I believe. Let's try getting her again. Another failure. We're at the point in the game with 2 5s for our stats that we might end up getting an impairment from this battle. Alright, let's try using psychic powers then. You engage in a psychic duel with the ghost. It turns its mindless anger and desperation against you, but you prevail. You feel that whatever it was before would thank you for the peace you gave it. We still haven't gotten, I think, anything from fighting those ghosts. Okay, I'm going to make the assumption that there is another clue token up here on the 2nd floor, and I'm not going to explore the individual spaces there. You feel your foot step down on the pressure plate and then hear the pneumatic sounds of darts being shot through blow tubes. You catch a glimpse of the deadly swarm of needle-tip killers heading your way. Oof, this is tough. You react without thinking, ducking into an acrobatic duck and roll. We do have Giant Leap. I'm going to use it. Right, it lowered that 9 down to an 8 as you rolled a 1. And we got to draw another card, and it also is an 8. I'm going to play that and hope we can use our king on a different card. And we could, but that was the worst use of the king ever. Still, that gave us 7 points over the target number, so we're drawing, I think, 5 victory cards. You tumble away from the curtain of darts and emerge unscathed. Yep, 5. So, traps, as I mentioned before, are always very dangerous. You can get wounded from them. You can get poisoned from them. They have ill omens with them as well. Winning, though, can give you auras of luck and experience points. So, you don't... whenever you see a trap, you really want to win those encounters. One life. You come across an antique mirror. The glass is dirty and streaked, covered in dust, but you catch a glimmer of reflected light off of it. As you look into the mirror to see your reflection, you start to feel uneasy. You simply can't see yourself. It's like you are looking through a portal. Suddenly, the blurry outline of a woman appears. Something supernatural is afoot here. You are startled by the woman's sudden appearance. You realize that you are looking into another dimension, and implications race through your mind, stirring up distressing fears and emotions. I like to imagine that this is actually a shattered mirror, in which we still see her through it, because this is the right... We got a encounter earlier that hinted that all the mirrors in the house were broken. Or at least that all the mirrors we had come across so far were broken. was a pretty lucky use of the page right there, right? I took the 2 with the 6 and held on to the page, and we ended up using the page to take the 8, giving us even more points. Good for us. I am impressed with how amazing I am. You have no problem dealing with the mysteries of the universe. The woman in the mirror does not seem overtly threatening, but she is terrifying nonetheless. She floats on the other side of what surely must be a portal. She can't possibly be human. The only word that describes her is ethereal. You begin to hear a low moan emanating from the mirror. The sound is truly chilling, and you feel as if it is trying to paralyze your mind. It's risky, but you might be able to communicate with this other dimensional woman. This might not be an invasion. Maybe it's just a call for help. Well, we're probably not going to be able to talk with her with this hand. Or maybe we can? No, we can't. You simply cannot figure out what this creature wants. Perhaps you should try again. It is said that the eyes are the door into the soul, and this proves the case here. You establish a mind link with this ethereal creature and discover that it desperately wants your help. The woman in the mirror is indeed a powerful creature from another dimension. It is searching for its child, who was stolen from it by a sorcerer from your world long ago. The child would be a creature of pure energy in this dimension, and it was imprisoned by the sorcerer in an ornamental vase. The ethereal mother has tracked her child to this location, but cannot cross over. She wants you to find the child and free it. She teaches you the incantation required to break the seal. She promises to reward you if you do this. It's on the bathtub, so I'm suspecting this is the creature in the tub. Kind of a tough zombie to fight. We'll try it anyway. It might also be a plumber or a wrench. It's a wrench. You see a large wrench that has been attached to a very old steam pipe that runs along the top of the wall. The wrench seems to be the focus of something supernatural, possessing a slight aura of some sort. The aura radiates a hint of eldritch evil, as far as you can tell, but it's more like a warning. Danger. Caution. So we'll leave this alone at the moment. This is part of a quest, the second part of it. And we need to get this back to the plumber, who will be in, I think, in a different bathroom somewhere in the house. You see the figure of a woman silhouetted against the wall. You call out, "Who's there?" but get no response. You almost wonder if it might be a mannequin of some sort. A sudden chill envelops you as you step closer. The shape shifts and turns to face you, revealing the outlines of smoky wings that unfold and then flit in and out of the darkness. Your eyes widen in disbelief as you confront what is obviously a winged woman of some sort. You think it must be a succubus. Your mind strains to comprehend the demonic creature that stands before you. Well, with 2 aces in our hand and we only got 1 decent card, we're going to struggle to comprehend what she is. The confrontation with the winged creature chips away at your sanity. Yes, you decide this is most surely a succubus. Remember your odd training in dealing with minor demonics. You must be on your toes here. She will try and manipulate you into doing something rash, no doubt. She looks upon you with the saddest eyes you think you have ever seen. She seems to want to speak with you. She is part of a quest, and we will leave her alone. If we can run. You will yourself to turn and run. You try to turn and run, but are simply unable to move your legs. Overwhelming fear instilled by some type of sorcery holds you in place. Well, she lashed out at us. I'm tempted then to fight her. She's the part of a long quest that involves the witches in the backyard. I'd rather leave her alone because I know she is Fall from Grace from the Planescape Torment series. We'll try running one more time. Okay, we didn't suffer any loss, so we'll do that again. So that mother wants us to go over here and free her child. But we're also close to some encounters down here on the first floor. By the way, I was watching my old review for this game from last year, and there are hotkeys to allow you to look at the maps of the other floors and to move the camera directly back to you. But you need a number pad to do it, and I don't possess a number pad on this keyboard, so I'm stuck without being able to interact with the, I can't, unfortunately, jump around. Okay, let's grab some cigars here. This thing seems almost seared into the chair. The fingers are what catch your eye. So this is what the gentleman ghost meant. They do indeed look like cigars. You decide to grab a bunch of them. It's a physical test, which is why we have it. Their ace showed up, but we have an ace in our hand already. You snatch a few of the fingers and put them in your pocket. Not able to leave its chair, the creature howls in anger. Arch stats are a little higher now than they were the last time we interacted with the demon in the fire. Let's try to bargain with this one. Something strange is going on here. You sense the opportunity to communicate with the demon and perhaps figure out how it was bound here and for what purpose. That's a good hand. Very nice. Maybe it's became more afraid of us, afraid that we wouldn't come back. And its attempts to dominate us earlier or defeat us didn't work out for it. And then it was worried that, again, we would never step back in the room and avoid it altogether. So showing back up, it decided to acquiesce to our request to communicate with it. Using the lost sign language of Chowdash, you establish contact with the demon. The demon states that it was recently bound here by an acolyte claiming to serve some dark master. It's clear the demon thought the human was insane and dabbling in things that were way over his head. The acolyte somehow managed to find a list of demonic names and binding rituals in some forgotten tome. The demon says that the acolyte would write them on small enchanted slips of paper. He believes his own name to be in an acolyte's pocket. He perished a few short hours ago when he foolishly attempted to summon and bind another demon, but got the slips of paper mixed up. Find the acolyte's body, then bring the name to the demon, and he will reward us. While we're here, I believe we have the parts for the oven, for the organ. We do. So let's go ahead and deal with this, since it's right inside this room. This is most definitely the pipe organ which the ghost of the organ master wanted you to destroy. Armed with this incantation, you should be able to dispel it and sever its nexus with the organ. Come on, Pentacles, and please don't be a King of Pentacles. Reciting the melody that the ghost taught you, you drive the evil spirit from the pipe organ. It seems to shudder and then exhale a discordant death rattle as the air wheezes one final time through the pipes. The heart. Another fire talisman. Interesting. Having two of the same talismans, it's always tempting to go for Talisman Mastery as another upgrade for our third skill. because that would let us grab an upgrade, which would increase one of our statistics by the amount of similar talismans held in our inventory. We have to choose the talisman type when we take that upgrade, so we have to pick like fire or earth, for example. But this would give us 2 more points of wands. That's tempting. But that means I have to go through the rest of the game with just a 5 swords. I'm not sure I want that yet. Alright, Tim, stop. Where are you going? This is not the correct way to go. We completed the Organ Master's quest. Organ Master is on the other side of the mansion. Okay, so let's... Let's examine the refrigerator. And I think we'll deal with the angry poltergeist while we're in the area as well. Another skeleton. Nice. Alright. Oh, nice. We have a better chance to kill it now with our fists. Destroy it. With 7s for tricks and card draw. Ooh, just barely did it, though. Knocked the head clean off this one as well. Okay, that's enough experience points to take another skill card. I'm going to quickly save the game. Because if I don't like what the card offers, I will want to Alt F4 and choose a different card. So another thing I could do, everyone, I don't tend to do this. In fact, I think I've done this maybe only once for all the videos of this game up on my channel, is I could play non-Reaper mode. Then I could just reload the game if something bad happens to us. In Reaper mode, when you die, your character is not killed. You only fail to complete the game when the final story token is drawn, or if you draw an instant insanity or an instant death card. Otherwise, when your health and life reach 0, you are placed back at the beginning portion of the mansion with whatever stat was lowered to 0 reduced. I think you get back 5 points there. You might lose some equipment, but I can't remember if that's the case. It's been an age since I played the game in normal non-Reaper mode. But then I would be just saving the game before I choose a card, seeing what the skill card or feat would do for me, or edge, and then leveling it. Oh, Tim, this is kind of far away. I think we still do it. We'll take out the Poltergeist of Knives while we're in the area, so we have better stats. Oh! Oh. Lacking the proper tools. You have doubts that you have the correct tools to face this threat. They should have issued something before you set out on this trip. Another story token. All challenges that involve swords as a primary suit receive a -1 modifier to the number of tricks placed on the board, while this story icon is active. Yeah, right, okay, I gotcha. Yep, and these ones are inactive. I just realized in the upper, right above there, under the title of the card, it says inactive. So indeed, only the last drawn story card is the active token. Well, let's go and fight a Poltergeist of Knives. And I think we use Psychics against it. It's 1 higher target number, but we get 1 more card draw and 1 more trick. This Poltergeist is the embodiment of mindless rage, and you think you can contain and disperse it with the power of your mind. Well, in our case, we're just going to be punching it, pretending that we have the power to infuse our fists with psychic energy. Let's see how successful we are at this. It's a decent hand. I've had better, but I've had much worse. That's a good start. Alright, that's enough to win. We didn't have to use a arcane card after all. You won the duel. You create a barrier around it, and then holding it tight, simply snuff it out. Or in our case, we get it in a headlock and punch it in its face a few times. You think you see something odd floating in the air. As you approach, you recognize the outlines of a metal cage hanging by a chain from the ceiling. A pair of narrow-set, almost feline eyes blink open. They glow an eerie red as if illuminated from within. You halt and compose yourself as a sense of dread pervades the room. The eyes seem to pierce your soul. You are confronted with the touch of a supernatural here, and it gnaws ever so lightly at your sanity. The creature's eyes find your inner doubts and seem to taste them and draw them out. You struggle to keep your sanity. Locked inside the cage is a strange creature of some sort. It's difficult to discern exactly what it is. It seems to shift and flit about within the cage, always surrounded by its shadow. At times, it almost appears to be a cat of some type. The cage itself appears to be enveloped in some type of sealing spell, empowered by tiny runes etched into the thin bars. A sturdy lock mechanism restrains the door on one side. Someone or something obviously felt this creature was dangerous. You sense a supernatural creature of some type is present before you. Perhaps it is a familiar of some sort. You might be able to communicate with it and figure out how it ended up trapped here. You realize that you might not be able to trust everything it says. Following your hunch, you establish contact with the most general form of the witch's cant that you can recall. It seems eager to tell you its story and wants to solicit your help. Back to the clock tower again. Sorry, the grandfather clock. The creature is indeed a familiar. Your training in sorcery suggested that it is of the variety shadow familibilis, and does in fact act as a superimposed state of dark and light. It says its name is Grizel, Greedy Gut, and it claims to have been imprisoned in this cage unjustly after its owner was lured to and murdered in this house many years ago. It was Grizel the name of the cat that Gargamel had from the Smurfs? I can't remember. That was Arazel, I think. By what or whom it is too afraid to say, and it gets very agitated when the subject is brought up. Despite its reluctance to talk, you discern that a sorcerer of some power imprisoned it within this cage using a tetraprismodial sealing spell. The only way to free it is to find the key that will open the cage. The sorcerer apparently was a clockmaker of some sort, and Greedy Gut believes the key to be hidden within a grandfather clock somewhere inside the house. Find the clock, retrieve the key, set it free, and it claims you will be rewarded. Yeah, we're going to make... we're going to make an executive decision and not explore any more gray spaces if I don't have to on the first or second floor. We did just complete the organ quest, so we might as well turn this in while we're here. You destroyed the pipe organ as the ghost required. You hope that with its task complete, the Organ Master Ghost can be at peace. The Organ Master's Ghost smiles and thanks you for your help. It says that it didn't really expect to see you again, but is pleased that you proved so resourceful. Content that its task of redemption is done, it fades away slowly before your very eyes. Another arcade card. The Hierophant. You immediately gain 2 through 12 sanity points after this card is used to take a trick. And we also gain some more experience points. We should take a skill card. Right, I forgot all about that. Let's go back to the main menu really quick to save it again. This thing's worked out for us so far. Might as well also save the game. Okay. So... we have 2 melee weapons, so I think we grab Melee Weapon Specialist. Yeah, let's take it. We can pretend this actually is boxing. So let's grab this. So we'll be able to increase our sword's attribute. We'll get combat edges, combat heroic feats, and a sword's bone from this. Okay, those are all of our leveling cards. We have 2 more points, so why... well, I'm going to improve our wands next. Instead of... swords is cheaper. We could actually gain a 6th sword right now. But the game's gonna see me having a 6 in a stat, and it's gonna make things a bit tougher for us at that point. Alright, there's no reason to go any further in this direction at the moment. We don't have any of the other quest turns in for the other locations here. Oh, we do here at the fireplace, but I'm going to wait until we've completed both of these quests before I come back there. Oh, we almost left without the refrigerator. Find the boffin juice and then switch its label with something else to sabotage Benway's experiment. We don't have a good chance at this. Or search the bottom row for the vile boffin juice and take this. It shouldn't be that hard. Let's do that. Oh, wow. We have a great draw. 3 kings of Orient are. That is amazing. There it is. You take the vial and put it in your pocket. And we gained 4 courage, which is enough to max our giant leap. Okay. Next, I think we will take... I kind of want another feat. So let's work on a heroic feat for combat next. We're maxed out on courage now on our heroic leap. And so if we get more courage, we have to give it up. We can't put any more courage than the max is allowed to have on that card. So by getting another feat, that gives us, first off, more options in combat, and also will allow us to hold on to more courage. We have another haunting. We'll try a getter again. That was dumb. Why'd I do that? I should have used the axe. Alright, so let's use... What's our machete do, by the way? Select a non-face card in hand, roll 1 bone, and bump up the... Okay, it's the same thing. It's the exact same thing as our axe. Oh! No, it's not! Crap. It's not at all. It's, select a card that you've played and bump it up. Okay. You got her good. No one's gonna believe how you did it. And you're not sure you are either. Unfortunately, this is exactly the situation I was just talking about. We can't take any of the courage. Giant Leap already has 10 points on it. So it goes into the ether. Alright, so... Gain 2 more experience, though. The first time we fought one of those ghosts, and it gave us something. Where am I going? Oh, that's so far away. I'm not going to turn in that quest yet. I think, Tim, what you do now is get yourself back upstairs past Benway. And we turn that quest into him. We do have a higher wands stat now. We could interact with the ghostly seance. It would be slightly easier, but I have a bad feeling about that encounter. You hand over the boffin juice to the creepy mad scientist. Excellent. Yes, that will do nicely. I'll be able to complete my work without any fatigue. I should bottle this and sell this, actually. Call it something like hours of energy. At any rate, here is your reward. Look over in that box over there. You might find something that you like. You might not, either. The Devil. +1 Pentacles bonus. Replenish all charges for any spells you have in your inventory that require charge after this card is used to take a trick. Another Arcana card. First Aid Kit. +1 bonus to cups. 2 uses remaining. I think if we were to use this... well, hold on. We'll take a look at this together. After we talk with the scientist again. Dr. Laszlo Benway remains hunched over his workbench, maniacally pursuing whatever weird experiment he has thought of now. He pays you no attention now that he is again lost in his work. You note the buffin juice does indeed seem to have boosted his work rate. He's obviously absorbed in his work, but fetching him some buffin juice was a bit trivial. Maybe he has a more important task. And we're not getting it with this card draw. You to say please. Pretty please would be even better. What do you think? One more time? Let's try one more time. That is super lucky, taking the 2 with the 3. But we've done... Wow, we're doing really well this time around. Holy crap, we almost took every single trick with all our cards. That's awesome. Yes, well, now that I know you can be trusted, I have a more meaningful task for you. Face of the Mountain. A talisman. Earth. Pentacles. Wasn't expected to get a talisman from completing a quest. Effort for gaining a quest. I wasn't expecting to gain such a reward from it. That's pretty amazing. Our improved luck must be doing this. I think we have 3 luck currently. It seems one of my experiments has run off. More plant than man, actually. A disappointment, but an expected one. I need a tissue sample once you find it. And then do be so good as to destroy it. Right. Off you go. Let's save the game. That's pretty amazing. Plus, we gained another Arcana card. And like the Hermit, this one wants us to save it. Because this one is giving us +1 more Pentacles. We now have 5 Pentacles. We also gained a Cups item. Increasing our Cups by 1 point. A first Aid Kit. Add X points to your health stat, where X is the sum of your Cups and Wands attribute. So this can heal us, basically. And it will currently heal us 11 hit points when we use it, and we can use it twice. After which it's removed from our inventory. Very nice. This is turning out to be a very good run. And now we're also finally beginning to get a bunch of experience points. Alright, so I took a heroic feat for combat. So this can be used on with both ranged weapons and melee weapons. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at here to see... Okay, a few things. Number 1, some of these feats can only be used with ranged weapons. Trick Shot, I believe, requires a gun for you to use it. You can't use it with melee. Some of these, I think Critical Hit is the same thing. I'm pretty sure this requires a gun for for Critical Hit. Some of these, which I think is the Blade Dances of Whirlwind, require an edged weapon, like a sword, to be used. To benefit from them. I think our machete allows us to use these. And then finally we have Reckless Charge, which doesn't require anything special, just us being in melee, just in combat. So I think it would make thematic sense for Samwise to have Reckless Charge. Roll 1 bone and bump the card values down on X random, not yet revealed non-face trick cards minus X. And then draw X cards, where X is the number of swords or cups rolled. Unless... Whirlwind would be actually really good. Roll 1 bone and bump the card value up on X random non-face cards in hand plus X up to 10. Where X is the number of swords or cups rolled, whichever is higher. Then draw a card. Because if we take Whirlwind, we can get an edge that also increases all the plus... So there are edges which can either further increase the bonuses to cards that you bump up, or further decrease the values on cards you bump down. And with Whirlwind, that edge would affect, I think, so far everything. Because our axe and our machete both bump values up, and Whirlwind also bumps values up. So I think we will grab Whirlwind. I really do like Reckless Charge. We'll take Reckless Charge, though, if we get another chance for another combat feat. Now, let's see if I was right, and that requires... a blade weapon? Oh, no, just melee. Okay. It doesn't say a bladed weapon, so we can use this even with our axe. Yep, requires at least one melee item. Alright, very nice. Alright, so that was a really good interaction with Mr. Benway. We have the cigars for the Gentleman Ghost, and we have the quest to help save the face in the vase. So let's stop in here and get both of these done. Free the child. This is the child that the ethereal woman in the mirror is seeking. You decide to use the release incantation that was taught to you to free the child. You speak the incantation, but nothing happens. Why does this always seem to happen to you? Because you give me bad cards, game. It's because when I draw cards into my hand, you usually give me a bunch of low numbers and one single face card. Despite the fact that I draw 20 cards sometimes. And then all the face cards are on the trick-taking side. This always seems to happen all the time to me. Except when it doesn't, like here, where I get no face cards whatsoever. But all the face cards are still over there on the other side of the board, so we fail even harder than we had just done. Way to go. Thankfully, we can keep doing this over and over again, because as long as the only thing we're going to be losing is sanity and not suffering from anything like an ill omen or an impairment, I'm not too worried about failing the encounter. The runes etched on the lid glow with power and then fade. You twist off the lid and the creature flows out of the vase. Before you object, it wraps itself around you in an aura. You must return it to its mother. You decide to give the Gentleman Ghost his odd cigars. You hand over the charred fingers and witness the delight on the ghost's face. Oh, yes, I know it's a bad habit that will probably kill me, but the afterlife has such few genuine pleasures. Thank you, good sir. Here is something for your effort. One experience point. Okay, well, we'll still put that to good use. Since we have a 6 in cups, we'll go for a swords increase next. You notice a human figure curled up into a fetal position and struggling for breath. It's obvious that whatever it is, it's sick and probably dying. As you draw closer, you realize that the figure before you isn't human. It's some type of weird half-plant and half-human lab experiment monstrosity. You occasionally encounter things that science shouldn't meddle with, and this is one of those. You stare in horror at the pathetic creature and wonder what madness would drive someone to create this. You were part of the team that broke into the 5th lab and discovered the twisted, alchemically created creatures called chimeras. This isn't anywhere near as bad as that. The dying plant man looks up at you expectantly. You think that you can recognize emotions in its facial expressions, fear and pain. In between labored breaths, it seems to be chittering like it was trying to communicate with you. Its message is plain. Please end this. Benway can rot in hell. You decide to mercy kill it and then create a fake sample. That should set his so-called research back a bit. Well, we'll have to succeed at this, though. That's very good. Taking a page with the knight. And we succeeded. I usually will do one of the missions for Laszlo incorrectly on purpose, like give him not quite what he wants, on the off chance that it leads to something horrible if you give him all three of the things he wants correctly. I don't think the game actually cares, but I care, so. You put the thing out of its misery and scrape up some mold from the floor and put it in a sample dish that Benway gave you. Okay. Next. I think we will grab... Do we care... Do we care about this? 1 cup's bone? Cups or swords? Cups or swords? Cups. I don't think... We don't care if we have a sword's bone at the moment. I want it anyway. We'll go ahead and start working towards it. Now, there is a Arcana card that will grant you a bone for every one that you're missing after you use it to take a fit. A bone from the swords, wands, pentacles, or cups. If you're missing one of those bones, it gives you all the ones that you're missing from those stats. I can't technically say all bones because there's quite a few bones in the game. Spells that use their own individual dice for casting spells. You hear water dripping, then you see the bathtub. As you approach, you start to get a bad feeling. The tub is full, and you can hear something moving in it. Suddenly, a figure lurches out to the brackish water and slumps over the side of the bathtub. Empty sockets stare at you. You've seen your fair share of undead, but this thing still gives you the creeps. We've seen things far worse than this, have we? I guess we have. The undead creature is fully clothed, but the fabric of its dress is wet and rotting away. You have no idea how long it's been lying in its tub. It turns its head towards you, and a tongue of some sort darts out of its decaying skull and seems to lick fleshless lips. You guess that it wants a snack. You decide to do a little housework for once and clean the bathroom. Well, wonders never cease. You made a mess of this. It just might get its breakfast in the bathtub. Let's try that again. You don't even let the thing get out of the bathtub. Like, it dragged us into it. What is left of the head rolls off and falls around on the floor, and you are Mr. Clean. I really messed that up. You don't even let the thing get out of the bathtub. What is left of the head falls off and rolls around on the floor. You are Mr. Clean. Quite a bit of life from that, and 1 experience point. This is obviously the clock at which the creature in the cage spoke. You decide to start searching it for the key. In addition to the complex gear space behind the faceplate, There seems to be dozens of small knobs and handles that might provide access to interior compartments. 2 pages, a bunch of other numbers. We might do it. Or we might not. You search the clock thoroughly, but cannot find any hint of a key. Then something goes click, and you hear a loud hissing sound as you pull a small knob. You have a bad feeling about this. You smell the scent of almonds before you even see the cloud of green death form up around you. You've been trained to deal with this type of situation, and your response is immediate. You instinctively cover your mouth and nose with your hand, and then drop and roll quickly to get out of the path of the gas. Hopefully, you haven't yet breathed anything in. Oh. A king and queen of wands, and then we have a bunch of 3s, 2s, and ace. I think we will giant leap here. We got to draw another card, and it was a 5 of swords. So I'm going to use one of these at this point. So let's use the star. Darn it, and we didn't have to use it because we had the king of, because there was a good card here. You managed to avoid the poisonous cloud and come up out of your roll onto your knees, well out of that death zone. That was a close one. We got a spell from using the star, so we gained Death Incantation. Roll 1 bone and then select X non-face played cards and bump the card values up plus X, where X is the number of pentacles rolled, and draw Y additional cards, where Y is the number of pentacles rolled divided by 2. Using combat. That's right, used in battle. Well, let's try this again. And it looks like we're going to have a much easier time this time around. By sheer luck, though. You search meticulously for any hint of the key, keeping an open mind as to what it might actually look like. Your attention is drawn to an inscription on one of the gears that reads, E. Schrodinger. You notice that it seems to be stuck, and pursuing the lead, pull a small gold key. Out from behind it. This must be it. Okay. I think we will begin exploring more of the second floor. Before we double back, I want to go back downstairs and interact with some of the things on that side of the mansion. You notice several old broken gun cases. Upon closer examination, you see a scattered assortment of mostly antique weapons through the glass panes that enclose the boxes. Oh, man. So a heads up that I made, I think, the difficulty like a 3 on this. Because I didn't like the idea that you fail to find anything in the broken gun cases when it's obvious there's a lot of guns here. I suppose it's very easy to explain if you don't find anything that there simply was nothing usable here. But I still hated the idea that you wouldn't find a gun in this room. The game has increased the difficulty by quite a substantial number, though, to make sure that it's difficult because our stats are pretty high. I think currently... Oh, no, it's a sword. It's if I think our swords. You know what? We'll search it. Let's do it. Oh, we have all garbage in our hand, of course, because of course we would. 2, ace, 3, 2, ace, 6. We only have 1 face card, and it's a freaking page. Now, good thing, I'm a complete pile of junk. You wouldn't trust any of these weapons not to blow up in your face. Screw you too, game. You smell the pipe smoke before you even see the creature sitting in the chair. By the time you realize what you are facing, it's too late to stop and quietly sneak away. You've only seen pictures in old illuminated manuscripts, but you recognize the creature immediately. It's a Rakshasa, a demon of the Great Illusion. You've seen enough legends turn out to be true, but this one still shocks you. An aura of evil surrounds this creature. You try and remain calm, but and keep your grip on your sanity. Your mind is strong. You can almost even see through the illusion and behold the creature's true form. The Rashaka beckons you to sit down next to it. You feel a tremendous sense of unease as you approach the creature. You know that according to the legends, it can change shape. This one seems to have chosen the appearance of a tiger. These masters of illusion love a good bargain and the taste of human flesh. Looking at the clutter of dishes on a tray nearby, you hope that this one still isn't hungry. You sense a keen intelligence before you. You should be able to communicate with this creature to find out why it hasn't killed you already. The creature speaks to you quite easily. It wants you to do it a favor, and in turn it will let you live. The creature puffs away on its pipe and explains its proposal to you. It wants you to fetch some papers for it from a room nearby. It doesn't know exactly where they are because there's a ward in place to keep them hidden safe from him. He wants you to find them and bring them back. If you do so, you will not only be allowed to live, but you might also find that the Rashaka is a generous benefactor. At least that's what it seems to suggest. You feel the pressure plate depress under your foot and hear the sizzling sound as a spray of acid hurtles towards you. You rely on your quick reflexes to turn away from the acid and roll to the ground and let it sail over you. You dodge, but you aren't quick enough to completely avoid the splatter. It burns. Okay, we will batter down the door. Notice that this used to be difficulty and a modifier of 7s. Now they're 10s. The game's desperately trying to make it more difficult for us because our stats have improved and our life and our sanity are much higher. We also have quite a few pieces of equipment and multiple talismans. So this is the balancer coming into effect, trying to keep the game as difficult for us as it can. I hate this idea, personally, but there it is. All right, so, you know, normally I wouldn't mind this, right? Because when you play, like, for example, Dungeons & Dragons with an actual... Well, I guess it depends upon the Dungeon Master. What I've done in the past, though, is I keep things spicy for my players. I might tweak a number behind my Dungeon Master screen to let them miss or hit or something of the sort, depending upon how generous I'm feeling or how well they've done. But I dislike it here because of how crippling it can be to fail one of these checks, and the game artificially, it feels like, making it more difficult, feels like it's really penalizing us when it does so. We've been lucky, though. We've avoided getting any impairments or wounds so far, but I still don't like this. In any case, we're going to hack it down, and it's a good thing we chose this because we have a bunch of, again, low-level cards in our hand. Still, a bunch of little cards showed up over there, so it worked out for us. And 3 more experience. So there's our Bones of Swords. Let's go for... Let's go for a melee edge next. And we found the attic, another way up to the attic. I'm not interested in the attic at the moment, though, so we'll ignore that. The hairs on the back of your neck stand on end before you even see anything. You sense a supernatural presence, an unfocused rage. Suddenly, books, cups, anything that is lying loose are swinging in the air around you. You realize immediately that you are confronting a poltergeist. The anger from the supernatural creature is palpable, and seems to flow from its turbulent motion. The rage isn't directed personally at you, but rather the living, a group of which you currently belong to. Holy great cards drawn. Well, we're not afraid of it, that's for sure. You've seen things far worse than this. You're confronting a classic poltergeist, a disembodied spirit animated by a powerful human emotion like rage, fear, or even lust. In this case, you sense a general anger directed towards the living. You know from experience that these spirits can be quite dangerous. So, I think I added... I think I've added both of these options. I think this is normally your only option for dealing with the poltergeist, like to defeat it, otherwise you have to flee. And every time I think you fail to defeat the poltergeist, normally in the game, it gets a little stronger, until it becomes impossible for you to run or defeat it successfully. So I added these as other options. Why don't we try one of these other options? Because it's been a long time since I actually fought the poltergeist. This is not a creature that always shows up. Many of the encounters that we've had so far in the game, you tend to always get the mother in the mirror and the child in the vase. Laszlo Benway tends to be pretty common. And others that we've seen are very common in the house. But this one is not very common. Maybe about half the time I've bumped into the poltergeist. So I wouldn't mind reading what I wrote for these. So, let's try destroy all the things. It seems to be bound to this particular room. If you can destroy everything it could use against you, books, cups, and the remains of those things, it would be defenseless. You grab a piece of wood that was flying in the air towards you. It's time to do some damage. Oh, good hand. Let's use Whirlwind. And that changed all of my number cards. It increased their values by 6. And we won without even needing to use that, apparently. It was ridiculous, exhausting, and required you to destroy a hard copy of War and Peace, but you've neutered its ability to harm anything. You, most of all. Oh, I like that! That's pretty good, Tim! That's pretty good. I'll give myself a little bit of applause here. Well done. Well done. I like that text. And it's punny, just like some of the stuff that Vic had written. I swear to you, by the way, for the rewards for these, I also made sure that they are the same as what you can get from the creature normally. When it came to adding new combat options, I did not adjust them. So what we're seeing given here are things that the game would have given us had we been able to win. Well, not necessarily, but like I didn't give it like an option to give us an Arcana card, for example, if that wasn't already an option for the victory. So this is my way of trying to stress that yes, we're playing a modded version of the game. Oh, but I messed it up. Okay. Okay, but there's something wrong with the encounter that I added because the poltergeist is still standing there. So I will have to take a look at that encounter. Alright, I've messed that up. So I'm thinking we wouldn't mind having Martial Arts Expert. Whenever a melee weapon special ability is used, non-face cards can be bumped up to face cards. At edge level 1, up to a page. At level 2, to a knight. At 3, to a queen. And 4, to a king. Let's select that. Now, if we see pages on the trick-taking side, and we have a 10 of a matching suit, and we're engaged in physical combat, we could use, for example, our axe, and then we can increase it to a page and take that trick. More shadows. Oof, shadow boxing is becoming much more difficult. Let's dispel the shadows. You decide to use your psychic talents to destroy the shadow spirits. They cannot be dismissed or reasoned with. They are the twisted evil remnants of extreme human suffering. You engage in a psychic duel. You find that you cannot stand against them for long. You gasp for breath like the huge weight was sitting on your chest. This could get ugly. I'm a little worried at this point in the game about impairments. We'll try that again. So this, by the way, it's not although it's a combat, like we're actually fighting these creatures, it's not using physical combat. And as such, we are not able to use my machete or my axe in this combat. It's another reason to consider what option you want to take in situations like this. Although the physical combat option that I modded into the game was more difficult, we would have been able to use feats or our melee weapons in it. You stand firm and use your talents to bottle them up in a psychic containment field. Then you crush the field and push them into the spirit world. This secret door probably leads to the Cthulhu statue. How difficult is this to open? Oh, tough. Very tough. Even with the axe, it's tough. This is a great example of how difficult the game's making this out to be because of our stats and our 32 sanity. The game's looking at this and be like, you can totally do this, Tim. Here, I'm going to increase the difficulty to 18 for this. Normally, it'd probably be close to 12 instead. We'll leave it alone. We don't have to interact with that. You see a section of wall whose plaster long ago began to peel away. However, something doesn't seem quite right. Your eyes catch the faintest glimmer of reflected light from the same pattern on the wall. You can swear that you hear the faint beating of a heart. Suddenly, you realize the wall is weeping blood. And then you feel the unspeakable evil presence try to embrace you. You struggle to maintain your composure as you feel a building desire to scream grab a hold of you. Blood trickles down the wall and the patterns sicken you. But the real danger here is something buried within the wall. It's evil, and it's reaching out to you. You must fight to keep your sanity. Your will is stronger than the evil embedded in the wall. You fight back the building urge to scream in panic, and then relax as you master your fears. I actually thought we failed that. I'm surprised we won. The wall weeps blood in pulsing rivulets. You can hear the faint beating sound, or perhaps you are merely imagining it. It mixes with the broken plaster and pools at the base of the wall, draining slowly between the cracks and the floor. You notice a large gash that seems like a laceration. There is something evil and malign pulsing within the wall. Some eldritch sorcery has left its taint here as well. You should proceed with caution. Oh, it's not a great chance either, game. You realize immediately that this is the weeping wall of which the bas-relief face spoke. You force back your feelings of unease and thrust your hand into a large bloody rent in the wall and search for the heart within. You feel your way into the bloody gash and grope around. Something grabs your hand with tremendous force, and you instinctively try to pull it away. After a spastic struggle, you finally manage to free it. Your hand is still there, but it's a bloody mess. Again. Oh, game, screw you. I don't know, everyone. We're not getting pretty lucky at this point in the game. One more try, Tim. One more try. Stupid. I'm done. Alright. So, I'm going to stop here, because this gives me an excuse to save the game, to kind of put the odds in my favor when we start playing this episode in the next video. You know, I think this is one of the reasons why I really hate the auto balancer in this game, because I mean we're doing well, right? We are doing well, but it seems like I have to do well in this game. I feel like I always have to tear the teeth out of the face of this game in order to do well, because it fights me every inch of the way in giving me good cards. Decent cards for which are a chance to win some of these challenges. But I know that's not true, even as I say it, because we've done well in some challenges with garbage cards as well. So I don't know. I think what doesn't help is that in this game, I really do think you lose more than you win. But when you win, you can win rather bigly, and so you end up slowly making progress. Maybe that's what's going on. Well, I'm going to stop here, and when we come back, we will interact with this wall, probably successfully, and then we can go downstairs and see if what's over here that we can turn in. Well, when we get this heart from the wall, the heart is a cursed item, so we're going to need to bring it back to the battery face down below as quick as possible. In any case, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching, everyone, and take care.